Alrighty, hey there everyone. We're back yet again with some more Minecraft. Last time we went ahead and finally got a hold of all the materials for our gold farm. It took 2 hours to go get them all, but we got them all in the end, damn it. And it has truly been one of the things of all time. And today, with all of our shulkers here, full of all of our magma and our obsidian and our glass and our building blocks and every other conceivable thing, except for cactus. Fucking forgot cactus. Alright, but we're almost ready. We need to go back and go get cactus out in the desert. That'll take like 5 minutes to do, so who cares. But once we go ahead and get that, then all we have to do is go ahead and build the farm. So we also picked out a location last time to go build the farm at, and we will fly on over there once we are ready. And I'm hoping to have this done within 4 hours. I think that's doable. That feels doable. Probably. Let's see here. We're looking for a desert. Where on earth could our desert be? Wow, I never wrote one down. Well, I do know my mangrove had one there. So negative 2180, 73. Let's see here. We want to go. Did I build? I had to have built a portal out there somewhere. It's got to be over here. Yeah, here we go. Oh, actually, no, that's our 001. Really? Did I not? Yeah, this is to our end portal, and this is to our other stuff. Did I write that down wrong? Negative 2180, positive 73. Huh. So we never built an ice boat road out to our mangrove swamp. That's kind of unfortunate. We kind of need to do that sometime. But we don't need to do that right this second. That should be okay. It should be an offshoot of our 00 bridge here. Bridge? Road? This ain't no damn bridge. But it should be a simple little offshoot, so it's most of the way there. It's a 70-block walk over to it once we get there. 2180. Yep. So we're coming up on it. Oh, perfect. We did already do it. Nice. There we go. So we'll pop right on over here. This will get us out to the mangrove swamp, which is near a desert, right? And then at said desert, we can go ahead and get ourselves some cactus, because we need some cactus. There we go. We also need some for growing anyways, so it's about time we got some extra. We'll get rid of the flower. I don't care much for it. But, yep. We got some cactus here on us now. We'll go ahead and grab a little bit more, and then we will ice boat road back to the base, go dump this in the shulker box. And this should be the only other material I really need, so we should be okay here. And we can just start building, so we'll knock these two out, and then we'll go fly back home. There we go. Got a random ass floating dirt block, but sure, why not? There we go. Late work. And we'll go ahead and go on back home now. And we have to go clear out our inventory a little bit here. We're gonna have a lot of placing to do, and we need some extra space here to do everything with, so we'll have to make sure our inventory is all nice and clean here. Shouldn't cause us no issues. And we will go ahead and go to our starting bit, which should be out in that direction or that one. It's very close to here, so we're not too terribly far from it. But we're already back on home, so that was a quick 4-minute task to go get some extra cactus. Not too big a deal. And let's go ahead and head on back and get this done. We got some spiders falling and dying since our mob farms are still active. We want to start building up our material there after all, so we kind of want to leave that on for a bit. We should have this done by day 700 very comfortably, might I add. So we should be okay. And our cactus. So I'm going to do one more head count on everything here, material-wise. So let's see here, 10,000 magma blocks, which considering it's about 2,000 per box, we've gone ahead and got overkill, so we're good. 4,000 building blocks, again, overkill. Glass, overkill. Obsidian, overkill. And then so we're stuck in the bulk. So we make the trap doors, our slabs, our string, our dust, our chest, our hoppers, packed ice, repeaters, wood to make boats, comparators, soul sand, buttons, redstone torch, turtle egg, any kind of immovable block, which we're using furnaces, honey block, slime block, which we have exact on honey, so we're going to get some more, fence gate, Prowl 8 powdered snow buckets, which are exact there, sticky piston, warp fence, glowstone, carpet, and then we're on our second page of materials, so beacon, composter, lever, wall, 2 buckets of water for infinite water, which we have extra of, armor stands, cactus, ender chest, lava bucket, sand, and then not to mention all of our temporary stuff, so our scaffolding, our bone meal to grow our kelp, and then what goes into that as well. Well, we got our temporary blocks, bone meal, and then our dispenser, piston, stair, kelp. We're already on the roof, so we have all the material now. We're not missing nothing. So we got everything and then some that we need to build with, which is great. And we'll go ahead and pop on down here right quick and get a little bit of honey. We need just a little more. There we go, do a little something like that. Perfect. So that'll get us just a little bit more honey here, so that way if we do make any mistakes, we can't correct them. We'll go ahead and sleep right next to the bees, because if I'm not mistaken, they should pollinate pretty much instantly, and go ahead and put some more honey in there. Yep, so even though we had emptied everything out, we've already got some more honey we can grab. There we go. And that was enough for an extra block, which is quite nice. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take full advantage of that, like so. And we'll keep letting them do their thing, and we can get out of here. There we go. Alright. Oh, we will also keep maintaining the pumpkin farm as we're working, because we're eventually going to want a bunch of carved pumpkins for those piglins. So the more pumpkins we end up getting, the easier it's going to be, if we can get them up front, that is. That shouldn't be too bad. And we'll tuck those away in there. Alright. We got our extra honey block, so we're doing good. We've got our location all picked out. And we can go ahead and, I guess, split into exact material if we really want to. Just so that way we've got exact numbers here. But if I want to do that, I need a dyed shulker box. Actually, no, I'll eventually make one of these into... Why is this one almost full? Ah, that's why, because I did actually almost fill this up, right? I needed to put those in. That's not important right now. So let's go ahead and get our white box here. And let's go ahead and put away some stuff. We can put away the hoe, we can put away that, shovel, we're keeping that, keeping those. Because ender pearls are still pretty important to have. Regular bundle that's there we can put away, and we'll have a new one out. Just for simplicity. Alright, cool. Okay, yeah, this is about as much as I can realistically put away. So we should be able to fit all of this in our... We need like 18 slots open, and we only have 15, so actually this isn't enough. So we still need to clear out our inventory here a little bit more. Water can go away, and then we'll do that. And then we'll also tuck the ice boat away right now. And our coordinates book, since we don't particularly need this right this second. I guess we should also do with our torches, but I've already settled on what I want to do, so this is what we're going to do. And yeah, keep the axe though, of course. Alright, so we can go ahead and grab everything here. Let's do our best to try and stay organized here while we still can. Let's see here. Is there any good solar one? Yeah. So we can put some obsidian there. And then we can tuck the rest into our inventory like so. And I think we'll move some stuff around a little bit. We'll do something like that, so that way we can keep the magma blocks there, the other big building blocks there, and then all of our other, whoops, and then all of our other blocks can go in like this. So we got our actual material there, so page 1, page 2, and then our bulk stuff. And this is our inventory, so yeah. Now let's go ahead and go set our spawn point up at our bed since we had just slept. And we will go ahead and get ready to head on out there. Here we go. Go ahead and play the tutorial here a little bit. All right. Here we go. Right. We should just have to take our 0, 0 here. Alright, and then this is where the actual farm starts. Alright, so again, for anyone who's interested, I believe I had posted this yesterday, but if not, it's going to be here in the chat for anyone who's interested and in the description of the spot. But this is Dashboom 4's gold farm. So yeah, very nice and swag. So it's going to be very cool. And this will get us 1,650 gold blocks per hour. And that's whole gold blocks. So that's pretty good. But we've got our center point here that we can go ahead and build around. Let's actually adjust ever so slightly because we don't want to be... We want to make sure that we're doing this probably within a chunk border or something like that. We want to be a little careful about how we're doing this. It didn't quite specify. Yeah, he didn't quite specify where to go, so just to play it safe, we're going to do this centered on here. Just that way we have that all centered. And I think our first bit of work is going to be on the obsidian part. So, with that said, we should actually place down all of our shulker boxes somewhere. So we'll go like here to this chunk and we're going to go ahead and place down everything. This might take a little bit since I'm a little slow. But we'll get it all down in the end, so it'll be okay. There's all of that. And then we're going to try and keep everything in relatively neat rows here. That way it's intuitive to see what things are when we have them. We'll do a little something like that. This is all of our non-magma bulk stuff, all of our magma stuff, and then we'll go ahead and have kind of our weirdo temporary stuff out here. That, and then our actual building materials are going to be these two boxes here. There we go. So, something like this. This should get us everything we need. Which is great. And we'll go ahead and have all that marked off. There we go. That's all nice and lit up, so that shouldn't cause us no issues. Take that back with us. Now, we can go ahead and grab ourselves some obsidian. This is where we start. Alright. We want a 5x5 obsidian square. This is where it starts. 3, 4, 5. Luckily, since we placed this little grid bit, we know exactly how this is going to go. Alright, and then we build up 4 obsidian from each corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Then we connect them to make a cube. see what else. Then we want to build up 6 from each corner now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 6 again. There we go. Then we connect this up. This will form 4 3 wide and 5 block tall nether portals, which I said it looks to be 5 blocks tall. Sure it does, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and hide our chunk borders for right now since we don't need them. Let's see if we can do targeted blocks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's good. Alright, we're going to do this until our feet are physically at Y229. You can see how we're at Y139 with our feet right now. We need to do this a bunch more. So 6 on each side. So that way we can make it 5 blocks tall on the inside. If you think this part is tedious, wait until we get to the magma block part, because that's 10,000 blocks we'll have to place, and this is only 740. So it does get worse. But, you know, we have all the time in the world today to get this built. Again, would like it done by 4 o'clock here. It's currently 1 o'clock sharp, so we have 3 hours. And we're expecting to hit that goal. Which, again, I think it's doable. It's going to be a little tough, sure, but it's definitely possible. Yeah. I guess that'll build it a little bit quicker, so we'll try and do it like that. So that way we can get a little bit of reaching in here. Okay, well not if we fuck up. And fuck it, we're already here. I can't reach that on account of it being diagonal thing. Let's not do it like this though, because actually I'm gonna get mixed up and I'm gonna screw up the spacing on one of these if I keep doing it this way. And it should be 5, so it should be okay. Six. Go. Yeah, it was bound to happen at some point. Oh well. That's why we're also using our Soak Touch pickaxe, even though it's only at half durability, but our Fortune 3 one is at full health. When I inevitably make a mistake with those turtle eggs, then, or glass, then we're gonna have to Soak Touch them to get them back. Oh, we shouldn't have to mine like a whole bunch during this, so we should be okay. And again, if we need to, we do have some XP bottles and reserves that we can use to fix up our pickaxe in a hurry. And if we really need to, then, you know, we can always go to the XP farm that we have on our base. It's a quick little trip over, so it's not too bad. But I would prefer not to if I can help it, which I should be able to help it, so. But yeah, this farm will be great for us getting a crap ton of XP and also gold as well, so this is going to be our de facto XP farm, if we so choose so, because we get to farm something pretty useful out of it, which is gold. Gold's pretty nice, you know? We can actually switch our food source out to golden apples if we can get this done. which will be very cool because I've never really had that as a major food source before. It's always been golden carrots and, golden apples supplement that, but they're not the food source. But considering the amount of trading we can do with the farmers to get a bunch of apples, then we should be fine. So that'll be cool. I don't think I'll get more farmers, though, I will say. Because I think the 2 that we have are really plenty for everything, but honestly, if we really need to, we can go get more, so it doesn't really matter. You can always go tuck him in another spot. But that's for later. Pretty high up now. We are closing in on the 200 mark, which is great. We want our feet to be at 229, so we're 30 blocks away. There we go. And so we keep climbing. Make sure to eat. You've also got another stack of golden carrots in reserve, so we can get more food straight away if we really need to, but we should be okay. Go. Alright, we're doing the second to last layer right now. So we are almost done with the obsidian. Which means that we can actually pack up this obsidian well, actually no. We'll need to use it for some side portals and stuff like that, so we won't actually want to pack it away into our ender chest quite yet. But we are getting there. Alright, 229. Already been over 20 minutes. There we go, do a little something like that. Alright, that'll get us up to the tippy top here. Alright, we want to build up 4 from each corner now. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do this on each corner. There we go. That should be the last portal that we can go ahead and cap it off. Oh, we're going to need some slabs after we're done with this. Okay, well, let's go ahead and fly back down. I just saw some pigmen already in here, so that's kind of fucked up, but makes enough sense, I guess. There we go. Okay, this is where we rope in our turtle eggs and our glass. So we need turtle eggs, glass, and temporary blocks. So we're going to need a stack of dirt, we're going to need some glass, and we're going to need our turtle eggs for this. So we'll tuck that away. And let's see here, obsidian should be in this one here because this one's empty. Here we go. Alright. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves some turtle eggs. Let's go ahead and go to our bulk side and go get some glass, which is going to be in one of these. Here we go. We'll grab 3 stacks of glass. That should be overkill, which is exactly what we want right now. And one of these should be dirt. We'll grab 3 stacks of dirt for some of our temporary scaffolding. And this is where we want to go ahead and fly back up and get started with this. Looks like we can make it at 2 as well, which is great. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is get down just a little bit. I'm going to have to get better at that. There we go. Okay, here we go. So now from here, I guess we can switch our bow out since we're not actually going to need our bow here. We want to keep our chest plate though on hand. So now that we're here, what we physically want to do is we want to go 2 blocks out, place a glass block, and place a turtle egg. Alright, and then turtle egg. Should have brought my shovel since I knew I was going to be using dirt. That's on me. It's fine. It's quick enough to break it by hand. I don't really care. Alright, and we need to do this on every single layer. Alright, yep. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So we're going to go ahead and go down every layer. We're going to go out 2 blocks, glass, turtle egg, and then break the surrounding dirt. Glass, block, turtle egg. Ow. Glass, block, turtle egg. There we go. Let's also get this out too. Glass, turtle egg. There we go. Organize our inventory ever so slightly to make this a little bit smoother to go through. There we go. And now we found our rhythm here. Should be doing a little better. That is also exactly why I brought Silk Touch, because that was bound to happen at some point. Here we go. And that. Inevitably, we were going to skip over the glass by accident. That's alright. There we go. Ouch. Keep building. Almost made it down to the bottom here, so we are getting through this pretty quick. What the hell am I doing? Get my directions all mixed up here. That worries me a little bit that there's an Enderman up here, but I'm going to assume that that's because of the portals, because they are still solid blocks that mobs can spawn on. So, not cool. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So that will cover us there, so we can go ahead and put those back. And then we'll go ahead and tuck the glass away here too. I am looking all in the wrong spots for this. We'll go ahead and toss that out since we don't need it. And then we will go ahead and tuck the dirt back. Alright, cool. Alright. I think it just needed to be 5 stacks. That's all we're going to make for right now. Okay, this should get us enough trapdoors, and if it doesn't, we will be very close to it. So that's fine. We can go ahead and take this out now, finally. Alright, and we're going to do this a bunch. So we literally just sit here and we pillar up on all 4 cardinals. And we pillar up with all these trapdoors. Once all 4 of them are in place, we then go ahead and stand up at the top and flip them all down. This will create like a tube that nothing can get physically to. So they'll be able to see these turtle eggs, but they won't be able to do anything about it. And additionally, this will keep them safe. So nothing will spawn in the tube, nothing will be able to reach it from outside of the tube. And yeah, this is how we're going to lure all the pigmen to the nether portals that we've got ahead and built here. Should be coming up on the end of it all here. I'm also curious. I don't know how high that was. Let me see real quick. What up now? Okay, so the obsidian block before the slabs. So, like here, basically. So this is where this goes. So now we can go ahead and just do this. We don't really need our sword more than we need our axe, so we'll actually tuck that away for once. Here we go. And we're going to do this again on all 4 sides. Yep, that's correct. All right. And also to clarify, we are 7.5 minutes through a 20-minute tutorial here. A good chunk of this talks about the sorting system, which is fine. And yeah, so we are going to be getting ready to do the spawning platforms here soon, which is going to be the bulk of it. So, yep, we are making good progress. Progress made is progress kept, right? We've gone through, we're 33 minutes into streaming, and we're doing pretty well. Whoops. Don't know, run out there. It's only 1:17 today. You better not. We don't want them stepping on these turtle eggs. We do have spares if needed, but I would prefer not to use them since that'll be used to actually jumpstart some additional turtle egg farming, so yeah. But actually, we don't really need turtle eggs for anything else, frankly. I mean, you only really need them for a gold farm, so it's not going to do a whole lot for us. There we go. No, a little bit more. There we go. So if we spam click fast enough, we can actually like take fall damage, so that it can really hurt us because we can't go that fast. There we go. That ghast is below the bedrock roof, by the way. So we don't gotta worry about that guy. more. Keep doing that for whatever reason. Oh, let's toss those out because we're not going to need them. Hey, first of all, rude. Hell out of here. Here we go. Alright. Now, let's think about this a little bit. If the ceiling, or if the floor of it is going to be at 233, and we're at 128, then we only need 105. So, put together, this is 111. There we go. We should have enough to get to the top, but we don't need to refill. So we'll have an extra stack of warp stems if we really need them. Which, hey, that's cool. And some cool fireproof wood, and that does help because later, probably definitely not today, but probably tomorrow, I will try to build out a blaze farm finally with the spawner that's at our nether fortress. We're kind of overdue for that. We've been overdue for that for over 500 something days by now, so yeah, the sooner we get to that, the better off we're going to be here. But you know, it's all cumulative, right? So as long as it gets done in the end, we don't particularly care how it happens or how long it takes. Oh, it shouldn't be nothing too bad. Coming up on the end here. Here we go. And now we'll go ahead and flip all of these down. There we go. Alright. And we picked up a little bit of extra dirt, so we can go ahead and tuck this away. There we go. Alright. Alright, this is where it starts. This is where we start with our magma here, and this is where things get fun. Okay, let me count that again. Okay, so we want to go here. We want to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. All right. And we're going to want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And we want to do this on all sides. Okay, so we can do that. Go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. Yep. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so now we just go ahead and connect out the diagonals, which should be fine. Like so. We'll go ahead and do this on all sides. That's annoying, but fine enough. We can fix that easy enough. Hardly matters. In fact, it's actually easier to build it out this way, so I guess it works out. And we really should get a pair of Frostwalker boots for this, but because we have Swift Sneak, I don't really mind. So we can be a little slower with this since it won't really make too much of a difference while we're building. Now that we got our diagonals built out, we can go ahead and start placing in everything. There we go. Oh, damn it. I guess it's only one block and I shouldn't care that much, but still. We don't have like that much extra. We have enough that we should be okay in case anything happens. Like a couple hundred blocks, but I don't want to be too wasteful if I can help it. Okay, so that's our first layer out of God knows how many done. Okay, and basically we're just going to keep building up 2 blocks and then building a platform every 2 blocks. So, yep, this is where we're going to be. So if we were to go 2 blocks up, you could see that this is where it would be. And then we would just have to trace the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a stack of dirt here. We're going to eat. And we're going to reload on Magma. There we go. Alright, and the annoying part is actually going to be getting back up onto this as it stands. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get a stack of scaffolding to hopefully make this process just a little bit easier. So we'll go ahead and just place down a full stack. That should be fine for now. Where did I put that? Oh, there we go. There we go. How high does this need to go? Jesus Christ, it needs to go all the way up to Y229. So we are gonna be here a while. Let's also see, what would this be tied to, do you think? Blocks maybe? Nope, not blocks. Ambient environment? Nope. Hostile mobs? No, that would have been stupid, but we'll do that. That. What is magma block tied to? What the hell? Players? Why? Okay, weird. Anyways, we'll turn that down to 10 then. Just that way it's not so grating, you know, because we are going to be hearing that noise a lot. Yeah, so we don't want to listen to it too much. Right, but with something like this, all we have to do really is just sit down and do it. So this is going to be the bulk of our time building this farm. There's nothing particularly farminess, or there's no particularly good farming bit later, or until later, rather. So for right now, it's build a big ass magma block platform and pray that you don't die first from boredom. I mean, realistically, I ain't gonna die doing this. It's just, damn if this thing ain't gonna get annoying and boring to do, but it's gotta get done. So, yeah. We have probably about 40 layers to do, I want to say. 30 something layers. It's probably closer to 30 layers, right? Because each, like, bit is 2 air blocks and a solid block. So it'll be close to 30. And that lines up because 2 layers completes 1 full portal, right? And we built up 15 of those 5 tall portals. So we multiply 15 by 2, you get 30. And it should be 30 and change. So yeah, again, not expecting it to be exact here, but should be close. Additionally, we might actually expend this whole thing of magma and then go back down into there and go grab the remaining magma, so that way we don't have to keep ferrying this up and down, since that's going to take up a bunch of extra time going back up and down. But let's go ahead and get this out. There we go. And we'll build this around. There we go. Perfect. And the other thing is making sure I don't end up breaking my wrist or something, so I can go ahead and move my keyboard around a little bit more and get a nicer wrist rest, because again, we're going to be kind of crammed here. There we go. Try and have it out this part. We'll put the bow back there. Actually, no, we'll put our ender pearls over there. So that way if we need them, we have them. We'll switch these around a little bit. There we go. Alright, anyways. There we go. Here we go. Alright. I'm not gonna say too much during all this because, like, there's not a lot to say yet again, you know? It's just a bunch of magma that's gotta go in place, and it's one of those tasks that you just gotta sit down and do, right? You just gotta keep in mind the end game with it, you know? Once you get all this in, you get a crap ton of piglin spawning spaces, makes your life a lot easier, and all the gold we're gonna get out of this means that if we just use this farm for 1 or 2 hours, we'll get like 3,000 gold blocks, and we won't ever have to really use the farm again unless we want more XP or gold, which, yeah, no shit, but, you know, with the amount of gold this is gonna get, we really don't need to, like, dip into this. I mean, we could try and do, like, enough gold for... I would like to do, like, a shulker box full of golden apples. I think it would be, like, a pretty reasonable goal to try and aim for. So we'll try for that once we get this up and going proper, because that'll be pretty useful. And the other thing too I like about this farm is this doesn't rely on like the older like aggro tricks that used to be in the game, and I don't remember if they actually still are in the game or not, if they finally patched them out, but you know, if you used to aggro one pigman, they all got aggroed onto you, then all of the aggroed pigmen would die and drop XP even if you didn't kill them because they were aggroed on you. And I want to say they got rid of that finally, which is good, so... That's something like this, because they're drawn in by turtle eggs and it's an intended mechanic, this thing really shouldn't break ever. The only part I could see being kind of sketch longer term is like the whole boat looting killing chamber when it comes to getting him into a bunch of boats really quickly to take him out of the mobcat, but even then, that's been in the game for ages and should be intended if I'm not mistaken. You know, having something go on a boat being taken out of the mob cap, and additionally, you know, being able to kill them like that with them getting snapped in, that should be fine. So, I don't think we'll have anything to worry about long term, but still helps to try and think ahead to think about where things could fail. And if there's any kind of easy solution. And we're going to hold that thought a second because we are effectively out of magma here. So let's go ahead and pick those 6 blocks up. You can see in the grand scheme of things we haven't done a whole lot because there's a lot to do, but this has already been a full shulker's worth. So about at the 5th of the way there, which is quite nice. I guess we can switch some of this around. There we go. At least if we can get up to our scaffolding, that would be pretty good. I'm also on the fence because I feel like by the time I'm done building in all the magma, I'm not going to really want to do a whole lot else. So what I'm feeling right now is that I'm going to do my best to get all the magma in here in one go, right? So we're going to build all the magma platforms, which again is most of the time of the farm. We're going to get them built up all the way to the top where they're supposed to go, and then I might just call it a stream there and just log out on the last magma layer that we'll be at. So that way we can just jump right back into it immediately once we're ready to start again sometime tomorrow. And then all that's left to do tomorrow is doing like the nether portal linkage and the boats and the killing chamber. So then, you know, we get most of the work done today, all the hard tough work done today, and then we're left with some of the more interesting stuff on another stream. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe we could actually detour a bit once we're done with the magma platforms and go build out the blaze spawner. We could go do that. I'll have to look up a tutorial for that because I haven't built one of those in a very long time. And I know with their light level, there's a specific distance from the blaze spawner that you should be building your lava at to push them into a killing chamber, but I don't remember what that distance is. So I'll have to look that one up. That should be fine. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll get all of the magma platforms put in place, and then we'll go build out a blaze spawner farm, because we can do that. We should also go cook up a fire resistance potion and go expand our brewing room a little bit. Actually, we don't need to expand the brewing room yet, but we will at least put in the extra brewing stands. But I do want to refine that area of my base a little bit better. You know, I feel like we're overdue for a more updated XP farm and enchantment area and stuff like that. And I feel like that should be physically part of my base. So we're going to figure out where we can put that. Well, actually, I feel like that's going to fall into one of two things. That's either going to happen at the... What's the thing I'm thinking of? That's either going to happen in the storage room. In some of the larger rooms that we have, you know, we'll have a section for the enchantment table, and then an opposing section right there with the LA Silverfish XP farm. And we'll have that whole thing locked down, because we'll build a second one. We won't get rid of the first one, we'll just build a second one. Or we'll have it up on its own layer up above like the storage room. Because remember, we'll have like 10 blocks or so of extra space above the storage room that we had left open for whatever. So we could also put it up in there with some extra enchanting and brewing and kind of have a whole really nice array up on that floor as well. Which I'm pretty tempted to do because I feel like that'd be a good area to like decorate and try and keep it a little bit more distinct from the storage room, but you know, we'll see. We have plenty of space in our base to do whatever we're thinking of, so it's just a matter of thinking of something and sticking with it and just kind of seeing how it all turns out. So yeah, we'll get it when we get it. Well, got another layer done here. We're gonna keep going up. We're within 50 blocks of Y level 200, which isn't the full way there, but it's most of it. So we are making some steady progress here, which is always nice. Also going to need to put down our shulker box and pick up some more magma out of it here pretty soon. But you know, we'll get to that in a little bit. Should be down to our last stack. Yep, we are. There we go. Pick that right back up. It's already been an hour. Yeah, 4 o'clock was being generous. This is not getting built by 4. Just with the sheer volume of shit that's here, it's not happening. I'd be grateful to get the magma blocks done by 4, not even including the rest of the farm. That's how bad this is going to be. But again, it's all going to be worth it once we get it done. Won't be a whole lot to do here. Today is Monday, ain't it? That's fine. There it'll be. go. We restock our magma here pretty soon. Now, each shulker box that we use is about a fifth of the way through, a little less than a fifth technically. So when we've used up 2 shulker boxes, we're about 2/5 of the way there. It's a little less than that. Actually, it's a little more than that, but still pretty close. Actually, no, it should be about a sixth, I want to say. Yeah, it's probably closer to about a sixth of the way there. So we'll be 2/6, aka 1/3 of the way there once we are done with this extra shulker that we have in our inventory. It's only got a couple more stacks in it, so we'll go ahead and get one of these sides all built in and ready to go place down our shulker to restock. Here we go. Is our second shulker all fully done and dusted. We got our third one there. Go ahead and start pulling from when ready. Go. The 160's down. I think that puts us at about 70 blocks away overall. Yeah, because it should be at 233 is our last layer. Actually, no, 229 will be our last layer. So yeah, we're within 70 blocks. That's pretty good. Damn. Do that. We do keep bleeding a little bit of magma, but it's nothing too major, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. See, we're actually getting pretty high up to our scaffolding pillar, which is pretty neat. Oh, it's 2 whole shulkers down. And once we're done with this shulker, that will put us at the halfway mark, which is quite nice. There we go. We got that. Almost built up a little too tall there. I haven't heard or seen any piglins yet, but that's because I think we're not physically high up enough for them to start spawning on the layers below us, so... We're getting pretty close to that point, though. Actually, we should have already passed that point. That's 128, and we're at 166, so that's without... That is outside of the 32 block radius that mobs need to be in to start spawning away from it. So... either 32 or 24, but either way, they should be able to start spawning on some of the lower layers. I'm sure we'll see soon enough here. Or here, rather, because I'm not going to physically go down there and see it, so... But we'll find out. So... Whoops. A little over there. That's alright. It's easy enough to fix it. There we go. Put that back again, so we'll have to dip our shulker box. That's basically the other half of the shulker. We'll place down this stack and then we'll grab the other stack out of the box. Just that way we can have that comfortably all written out. So there we go. Alright, so that is box number 3 fully emptied. Place down our inventory, we'll have half of it done, rather, we'll be halfway there. Can't seem to speak today, since my brain's starting to give up since we've been doing this for too damn long. It's currently 2 as well, and it's been over an hour, so just an hour straight of placing down magma blocks, which is a lot. You can actually see the tip there, so we are getting fairly close. I mean, we might be able to do it all in one day, in one stream, but I'm still not particularly banking on that. I'm still at least feeling like I want to get the magma blocks in and then go do something else and then call it there. And then we could go do the rest of the farm tomorrow. But you never know. There we go. Keep doing that more recently, but I guess it's fine. It's an easy enough fix. We have a good chunk of magma in our inventory, so we won't need to dip into our shulker box yet. But too far there. Whoops. That's gone. We'll have to start dipping into our fourth box. Not quite ready for that yet, though. Yeah, I thought I missed a spot. I did not. We're all good. Think we're out there. There we go. Alright, we are at Y level 187 now. We get there. You can see it. Amber passed our scaffolding too, by the looks of it. Unless it's on the exact opposite side of me. No, it's on the exact opposite side of me. It happens. It's been an hour and a half currently, so yeah. Still at it, you know. Still got more to do. Right now, run a little low on dirt, so probably need to go pick up some more from that shulker box. But that's easy enough to go do, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. There we go. A little bit of magma, so we're going to need to dip in our shulker and grab some carrots. Hopefully this will be enough to make a ring over it, but I don't actually know if it will be. We'll be cutting it close, but I think we'll have just enough to do all this. And we get the other half out of our shulker box. There we go. Stack. Does it go there? Yep. There we go. That's all good. That is odd. Heard a chat noise and yet nothing happened. That's really weird. Huh, that's strange. Well, anyways, we still got more build to do. We're within about 40 layers here, or 40 Y levels. We only need 20 layers after this. I say only here, but you know, it's a lot. Okay, second time now. That's cool. So not physically seeing that. That's a little weird. Oh, not too hard about it. What's up with chat though? But there we go. Hey, we're officially past the scaffolding. That's neat. that is our fourth shulker box that we've gone through. Guess we actually should reload real quick on a little bit more magma. Now we're burning a little bit here, but you know, we're in full prot for netherite. We don't have to particularly worry about it. So still need to eat though, obviously. It's gonna catch up with me at some point. But we are on shulker box number 5 now. And it's been an hour and a half formally. So yeah, you can see the tip pretty well now. So we are getting closer. Having a hard time even seeing the floor, so that means we're getting really close to getting up there. I could be a little bit quicker than that. Whoops. A little too far there. That's alright. We are officially past Y level 200. So we are almost done putting all the magma in finally. There we go. Alright, we are almost done with... well, bit of a shame that we slipped there, but I guess it's fine. We are almost done with level 205 here. Okay, need more magma, fair enough. And we need to go restock on dirt here fairly soon since we are actually almost out of it. So we'll finish up this layer and then we'll go fly back down and then fly back up with some extra dirt. But yeah, we are within about 24 blocks here, so only another 8 layers to go, which is quite good. Yeah, there we go. Alright, now somewhere down here is the light. Here we go. I'm going to turn on hitboxes. Ah, you can see them all stuck down here. They try to leave, but they cannot because they're too lured in. Kind of funny to see. Well, it has been working though, at least. That's good. And the reason they're bunched up down here is the bottom layer, right, isn't going to actually have any way to kill them once they're down there. So if they spawn on too low of a platform, they won't be able to die from fall damage unlike some of the other ones up a little bit higher. So at least it is working. In fact, we can even see it in action here. They try to jump on them, and it goes about as well as you would expect. Yep. Oh, there we go. Don't know what I'm doing here. This isn't the way I normally build them. I'm going to go ahead and do the edges first. And we can leave hitboxes on for right now. Why not? Right to 11. We're getting there. And 18 blocks. How long has it been? An hour and 46 minutes. Yep. Alright. A little longer than I would have liked, but, you know, again, it's not too bad. And actually, yeah, it's only 2:30 as well, so technically we could still get this farm done by 4 if we really want to, but again, this is just mind-numbingly boring, you know. I know this is boring to watch, so how do you think I feel doing this? So, at least you guys can actually do anything else. I can't, so I have to just sit here and build it, which, hey, you know, again, it's going to be worth it when it's done, but we got to get to that point first. But yeah, I'll save the extra parts of the farm for next time, so that way we have a little bit more fun building to do in one stream. And I think I'll push the blaze farm back a bit more, because we don't really need blaze rods, and frankly, I'm not really going to feel like doing anything after all, after we get this all done, so yeah. But that's alright. Everything will get done in the end, so it's not worth worrying about at all. We got a couple stacks left, so we will have to dip into our shulker box again fairly soon to go get some more. We're on day 667 as well. So we are 2/3 of the way there to day 1000. This will be the second world, well, it's not counting eggs before they hatch, but if I make it that far, this will be the second world I have ever done that has physically made it to day 1000. The first one, of course, being the one I started back in 2021 that I've kind of abandoned the past, couple years, but this one will be pretty damn good on its own too. So, and I do enjoy this one a lot more than I enjoyed my older one. My older one had some very nice stuff in it as well, but it was just a lot of extra work that I didn't feel happy with, and committed too hard to an idea that wasn't too good, so it unfortunately fell through. That was kind of the beauty in it, in terms of the fact that it had a bunch of projects that could be finished, but I didn't really have, I guess, as much endurance as I thought when it came to doing those. And just leaving it to be unfinished felt pretty wrong too. So, yeah, not cool. But hey, we've reined in our scope a lot more with this world and the one that we had prior to this one when we died, but by reining it in, it's been a lot more enjoyable. We've taken our time to actually build things that look good and that function well, and that alone has seriously helped out in terms of just morale. Things don't feel too daunting because we have all the material on hand usually, and additionally, it looks good, which is a big thing in and of itself too. Everything looks good, it flows together nice, and it's still part of that large scale that I like. It's just done in a better way, with some smaller bits that I can focus on to make the bigger picture look that much better. So it's pretty good. At being able to build in a mountain location instead of having to make a mountain location, because the update didn't exist yet, definitely helps out a bunch. So I'm glad I knew exactly where I wanted to build, and I just had to be committed enough to find a mountain range that fit that description. It took a really long time to find where we're based at, but it has 1,000,000% been worth it. Some of the other projects that we've done that aren't just farms, like actually building infrastructure and a nicer trading hall, things like that, and our nicer storage room that we're working on and our base, they've been very rewarding too and fulfilling, because they actually look good and they're in a good spot, and you actually want to be at them because they're actually well built. They look good, and actually navigating them is pretty well built. instead of it being just a maze of halls and things are clustered a lot harder. So I do regret that I couldn't finish the Parthenon in the other world though, but you know, it's one of those things that I might revisit here in this one in terms of building a Parthenon, but I also probably don't even want to attempt it until I get a proper quartz farm going, because quartz was the biggest bottleneck ever over there. It was very, very bad. And at least with bartering, you know, we can trade for it, make life a lot easier, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to really build something that big with quartz. So, yeah, we'll have to pick some better blocks, but, you know, that's for the future. I do want to build those clouds fairly soon, though, that I've talked about in the past, so that way I can put the chunk loaders in them. Because I want to build buildings on top of the clouds and then have certain bits of higher level machinery in the clouds. Because I think it'll look cool, and just have a nice ring of them near the very tippy top of my base, because I can do that. But yeah, it's all cumulative, you know, we'll get to it when we get to it. And to do it though, we're going to need either a lot of snow and white glass, which we can actually get both very easily, so that's probably going to be the bulk of our building blocks. But I also want to use some white wool, which we'll need to get more of. Well, actually, no, we've been farming string, which we can craft into white wool, so technically we have easy access to all the blocks. So I think we'll have to practice building clouds in creative, and I'll do that probably on my own time, but you know, once I can build some nice clouds in creative and get an idea for how they should feel and like how they should billow out and stuff like that, I'll build a larger set of them that ring around my base, and then that'll give us some platforms up in the sky to work with, and that will be pretty damn cool. So yeah. I also saw a comment on one of my VODs recently about building an end ship with some cannons, I believe it was, and I'll have to sit down and reread that comment again because it's been a little bit, but I think that could be a pretty cool idea when it comes to having more of a sky base, you know? Because I do already want to build some docks anyways for Happy Gas, so it would be pretty fitting to have some kind of like end ships or sky ships just out and about hanging up there, you know? Spacing of it's going to be kind of tricky because I don't know anything beyond that, so it's a bunch of ideas that I have that I have to then figure out how to chain together in a nice way, which I tend to struggle with sometimes. But it's one of those things too that if you just back up and you think about it in the big picture, right, it gets easier to have this big list of ideas, this big old laundry list, and figure out how each of them chain together, and then when they all chain together, you can start integrating them a lot better. But you just got to get all your ideas down somewhere, get all your thoughts in one spot, organize your thoughts from there, and then you can say, okay, what do I actually want to do, and what should I do, and what can I do, and what could I do? And then you just sit down and do it. And it's fun, you know? It took me a while to learn that in terms of how to organize my thoughts and how to kind of get things like that done, but once you learn it, you don't have to really relearn it, and it is such a valuable, valuable skill to be able to have, you know? Saved me a ton of times in terms of planning and making life a hell of a lot easier, and it has just been very cool. So, and it's even helped with my job too, all things considered, which has gotten me more money because I look more like a professional now than I did when I started working, however many years ago it's been. So, it's pretty good. Pretty good. But yeah, there's a whole lot of cool things I want to do. I'm trying to make sure to just do 1 to maybe 2 things at a time, and then making a list for the other things I want to do. And then we just kind of prioritize, you know? Makes life easier. But I'm torn on the cloud bits a little bit because I don't know if I want them to be semicircle, not semicircle. Semicircle would be half, or like 3/4 of a ring, basically, like how our mountain range is, where the mountain range goes around 270 degrees and the front 90 degrees is open, which is where our base is. I don't know if I want the clouds to match that, or if I want them to be a complete 360 ring around the top of my base, or if I want them to be like 2 separate 180-degree semicircles on each side that are disconnected at like the middle, and then they either have some kind of bridge or rainbow or something connecting them, or they're just open air, because that would be cool too. So I don't know yet, but we're down to our last bit of magma blocks here, so which is perfect timing because we actually only have a couple more layers to go here. Wait a minute, we almost fucked that up right at the end. That would have been a little lame. There we go. Let's not mess that up now. Let's also make sure to break that. But yeah, I've got a lot of cool ideas I want to do and I want to build with, but I just have to pick one thing and build it to completion and then go do the other thing instead of trying to flip-flop between so many different things and making gradual progress on it. Because the trade-off with that is you got a lot of things done all at once when they're fully completed, but it takes longer to get to that point. So it can be demotivating because you feel like you're making no progress, even if you are objectively making a lot of progress, because you don't get to see anything being completed, you know? Versus you work on one thing at a time, you finish it, you get to reap the benefits of it, and then you get to move on to the next thing. And it's a lot more gratifying to just do one thing at a time and do it well, is what I've been finding. So again, you can still have projects that you want to do in the future that you are planning for longer term, but when you get that done, that you do all that planning and you say, here's the things I want to build and when I want to build them and where and all that kind of stuff, you pick one, you start building it, you don't flip to the other one. Unless you're burnt out of the thing you're currently doing, in which case, like, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to dodge burnout. So then that's when you go to one of your other projects, one of two. You got your main project and a side project that you can kind of de-stress from a little bit, work on that side project, and once it's done, or you're feeling better, then you go back to the main one, you know? So it's all just a matter of perspective with something like that. Which, again, it takes time to figure all that stuff out. And I'm glad I've been in a position finally to actually see that a little bit more. You know, I haven't actually had the time until fairly recently at this newer job to actually back up and see the bigger picture of certain things. And getting that time to breathe and see the bigger picture has been just, it's game changing for a lot of stuff. You know, it's very good. But this is the last layer of our magma blocks. It is about to be 2 hours, if you can believe it, and we are finally done with all the magma blocks after this. It was great. I never want to place more of these damn things again if I can help it. Not for a while at least, but a gold farm like this should carry us pretty hard for a long time. So that'll be nice. Well, it should carry us permanently, not for a long time, but literally permanently, because the amount of gold this thing makes is absurd. So, yeah. It's gonna be worth it though when it's done. Whoops. There we go. This is our first particularly big farm too, you know. I mean, the bamboo farms are kind of big, but it's not big on this scale in terms of what you need to build them and all the intricacies that go into it. So it's a different kind of big. We don't have a whole lot of magma left, but we should definitely have enough to get this done. So let's grab the last little bit that we need and start doing this. But yeah, with this farm being so large, I'm really hoping it's going to put out a lot. I'm pretty confident it will, but you know, it's yet to be seen. I'm also considering, well, maybe not. I don't know how I would want to do it, and actually I think I had talked about it before when I was building them and I decided that I couldn't. But maybe we could give it another try since we'll have some more space with the clouds. But I don't want to bury them in there either because that'll lead to a lot of spawn proofing and I don't want to do that. But kind of curious to see if I could upgrade my iron farm to like a quad farm or something. Or I guess how I would even go about doing that because I don't really know how that would work. But I do know, though, that I would like to probably upgrade it somehow. And I think it's really going to be tied to the chunk loaders at the end of the day. You know, we just need to build the damn thing. So, yeah. But we finally are done with the magma. So let me see what else is next. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start building up the glass for spawn proofing. And then that will probably be the last thing we do here. Yeah, you can definitely see it at work here, so it's definitely moving along. That is for sure. Just had to make sure that I had my bow out in case we ended up coming across any gas. Here we go. Let's see here. So, temporary block, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. So this will spawn proof us against gas, since they can spawn on this magma block technically. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Okay. And then from here, we want to go 3 blocks left. So 1, 1, 2, oh, well, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, duh, there should be a 2-block gap between them. Yep, there will be a 2-block gap between it. And we basically just want to drag this around and across. There we go. Let's see how he actually does this. Alright. So yep, we just really wanted to line up with the actual platform. Last little glass there, unfortunately, but not too big a deal. That should be good. Yep, that's what we want. There we go, perfect. There we go. Go ahead and stretch this all the way out. It's been over 2 hours officially. And yeah, I'd say we've gotten some pretty good progress done for 2 hours. Got the main actual farm part of the farm built, which is quite nice. There we go. And this is where I call it quits for right this second. Because what the rest of this is going to involve is our string and the rest of our glass, because this is where we have to build the rest of them all together. Let's see here. We've got our string, keep our dirt on us, get our glass. Alright, there we go. See these guys being bastards. Go ahead and cut this down finally. Certainly are a lot of them. Also, go ahead and click away the scaffolding as well. Here we go. And let's pull out an ender chest here real quick. We're not going to have enough space to tuck that away at. Ah, it's fine. We're going to go ahead and move this ender chest, and we'll put it right here next to our items. That way we got it. And yeah, next time, which we'll go ahead and fly up there so that way we know what to do for next time, we will go ahead and place in all of that string and glass that we have. Easier. We'll do that tomorrow because I'm good for now. So it's day 668 rather. And we're going to leave that for tomorrow. Not later tonight, just tomorrow on Tuesday. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get the string and the glass ceiling in place. And then that should be the actual farm part of it done, which is good. And then we start diving into the overworld portion with building the portals and the kelp and the redstone systems that power that. And then the killing chamber as well. And then how to move the boats in. So we got pretty much the hardest bits done. So still have more building to do tomorrow, but that is for tomorrow. So yeah, and huge shout out to Dash Floor for a very nice gold farm, and we're good. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye bye.